Hi everyone, and welcome to another video. If you read the video title and you know what you're here for and you just want to jump to the device setup part of the video, I'll put the timestamp for that here. If you're new to my channel, my name is Patrick and I'm a hobbyist photographer and sometimes vlogger, but I also have a day job. Now, with the coronavirus and the stay-at-home order, we've all had to do what we have to try to function in this new normal. I'm fortunate enough that my work is reasonably transferable to a work-from-home situation. What this has also meant for me, though, is that now I'm in a ton of video conference calls every day. If you're in a similar situation, or maybe you're doing Zoom calls with family, you've probably noticed that modern webcams on laptops are pretty much awful. My work provides me an Apple MacBook, which is a great laptop, but they have been using 720p webcams for years now, and it just looks like garbage. It's pixelated, full of noise, blown out highlights. I couldn't take it anymore. So I decided to see if I could use one of my photography cameras, which have been lying around, as a webcam. I'm certainly not going out to shoot sunsets these days, so I might as well use it for something. And using one of those cameras will really up my video conferencing game, making me the envy of the virtual office. The cameras have a mini HDMI output port, so it must be easy, right? Well, as it turns out, no, it's not that straightforward. In this video, I want to take you through how I was able to turn one of my cameras into a webcam for all of those video conference calls. Now, I'm a Sony shooter, so I'm going to talk about how to do this with Sony cameras, but in general, if your camera has an HDMI port, these same principles should work. At first, my naive assumption was that because my cameras had that HDMI port on them, I should be able to output the video to my laptop and then just use that directly. But no, that wasn't the case. Essentially, the computer doesn't recognize that video input as a webcam, so it won't provide it as an option when you're using your video conferencing software. What you need to make this work is a device that sits between your camera and your computer and converts the camera's video output into a recognizable video input for your computer. In general, these are called camera capture devices. Now, if you're a Canon shooter, I have heard that Canon is developing an app utility that will allow you to do this without the capture card, but it's still in beta, but maybe check it out. So there are a few of these devices on the market, and given the lockdown situation, it was actually pretty hard to get a hold of one because apparently people are buying these up. It also looks like some people are selling them on eBay for huge markups. I wouldn't necessarily tell you how much you should be willing to pay for a piece of equipment if you really want it, but for myself, I didn't buy one of those on eBay. They were like 300% markups. I waited until I found one that was normal retail price on Amazon and then bought it. The device I picked up is called the HD60 S Plus. Technically, this device is intended for game streamers who want to record themselves and their game and then stream that to services like Twitch. So I'm really only using part of its functionality. But who knows, maybe I'll stream some Fortnite one day. Is that still cool, Fortnite? I don't know. Anyways, Elgato does make a device dedicated for this purpose called the CamLink, which is also cheaper than the HD60 S Plus. But those, I was never able to find one in stock. And the HD60 S Plus was the first capture card I could find, so I scooped it up. One note here, Elgato also makes a cheaper version of the HD60, but that device does not convert the video to a webcam input that your computer will recognize. I actually bought that version first and had to return it after learning that lesson. So if you are going to use the HD60, you have to get the S Plus model. Okay, with that out of the way, on to the setup. The setup for this device is actually really easy, practically plug and play. For this demonstration, I'm going to use my Sony RX100 Mark V. First, you'll need an HDMI cable to get the output from your camera. For my Sony cameras, they use an HDMI mini port. For your camera, be sure to confirm if it has an HDMI full-size, HDMI mini, or HDMI micro. There's nothing worse than getting the wrong cable and having to wait before you can get the right one. So I have an HDMI mini to full-size HDMI cable. This did not come with the HD60 S Plus. I had to buy this separately. Now you plug the HDMI mini into your camera, and then the full-size HDMI goes into the Elgato HD60 S Pluses in the in port. Then you have a USB-C cable to USB-A cable that comes with the HD60 S Plus. Plug that into the out port on the HD60 S Plus, and the other side of that cable goes into your USB-C dongle because Apple port problems, am I right? But really straightforward here. The HD60 S Plus just sits in between your camera and the computer and converts the video. Lastly, for setup, you'll need power for the camera so that you're not depending on the battery, which can run out pretty quickly on these little RX cameras. For that, I just run a long mini USB cable up to the power input for the camera. There's also a setting in the camera settings for USB power, so if you're not getting that to work properly, check your USB power settings. Now we go over to our computer and let's launch the video conferencing software. For this demonstration, I'll just use Zoom since it's so popular right now, but I also use Cisco's WebEx and Microsoft Teams for work, and this setup works for both of those apps as well. Okay, we launched the app. If we go to Settings, Video, and check the video camera options, and first we see my laptop's crappy webcam. But, and check the video camera options, we see that the HD60 S Plus is an option. Select that, and blam, it works. However, you may notice that the camera is also outputting the camera UI in the video feed. We need to switch that off if we want to keep this pro. For Sony cameras, we can do that by going to the camera settings and switching off the HDMI output of the UI. This is apparently known in the business as having a clean video feed. If you don't have a Sony camera, you'll have to check if and how to get that clean video output without the UI. Now let's check out how it looks. Hey, we look awesome. Not pixelated, not 720p garbage. You too can be the envy of your virtual office and get comments like, I can really see the stains on your shirt now, and you must have a lot of time on your hands. But now that we have the camera set up, you can do all the normal things that you might do when you're recording video with a mirrorless camera. Like if you have a wide aperture lens, and you can shoot it wide open for some narrow depth of field and get some nice bokeh in the background. Or if you have an interchangeable lens camera, you can switch out lenses and see what kind of shot makes you look best for all your coworkers. You do you. Additionally, you can also use the HD60 S Plus as an audio source for your calls. You can do this in a couple ways. First, you can use the audio output from your camera with either its built-in mics, or if your camera has a mic input port, you can pipe the audio that way with an external mic. Or the HD60 S Plus also has its own mic audio import as well. Then, when you're in your video conferencing software, in the audio settings, you can choose the HD60 S Plus as the audio source. All right, so that's it. Like I said earlier, it's really a plug and play once you get it going. The most important part is that you have the right kind of device that is doing that conversion of your video feed for you so that your computer can recognize it as a webcam. If you have that, then the setup is really easy and it just works. Okay, I hope someone out there might have found this useful. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. And if you like my videos, I wouldn't mind if you subscribed. So take care. I hope you all stay safe and healthy out there, and I'll see you in the next video.